Hello everyone, my name is Anita Sen, your science teacher from Shri Rama Bharti Public School. Today I will explain few topics from reproduction in plants. So let's start now. Today we will discuss sexual reproduction. This is the most common method of reproduction which is found in the plants. A new plant develops from the fusion of male and female gametes. And when the male and female gamete they fuse, always the zygote is formed, which is known as fertilization. Now, in sexual reproduction, new plants are obtained from seeds, and this reproduction takes place in the flowers. Now, we should learn about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Flowers are the reproductive organs of the plant. The main function of the flower is sexual reproduction. A normal flower, it consists of sepals, petals, androecium, and gynoecium. What is androecium? Androecium is the male reproductive part of the flower. Androecium may consist of one or more tube-like structure which is known as stamen. Each stamen consists of a thin stalk which is called filament and two-lobed head which is known as anther. And inside the anther, pollen grains are present. These pollen grains are male gametes. Then pistil or gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower, and each pistil which consists of stigma, style, and ovary. The ovary contains one or more than one ovules, and the female gamete or egg is formed in an ovule. Now, we should learn there are two types of flowers. One is unisexual and second is bisexual flowers. Now, what is this unisexual flower? The flowers which contain either the androecium or the gynoecium, means it will contain only one reproductive part, male part or the female part. That's why this type of flowers are known as unisexual flowers. Like the examples are cucurbita, papaya, and mulberry. These all are unisexual flowers. The flowers which contain both. Now, the flowers which contain both means androecium as well as gynoecium. So, means they are having both parts, male and female, and that's why they are known as bisexual flowers. The most common examples of bisexual are mustard, rose, and petunia. Now comes the pollination. What is pollination? Pollination is the process by which pollen grains from anther of a flower are transferred to the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. Again, I am repeating. Pollination is the process by which pollen grains from the anther of the flower transfer to the stigma of the same flower is known as pollination. Now, there are two types of pollination. One is self-pollination, or it is also known as autogamy. In self-pollination, the process of transfer of pollens from the anther of the stigma of the same flower or to the stigma of another flower of the same plant. So that is known as self-pollination. Now, there are few advantages of self-pollination. The first thing, chances of fertilizations are maximized. Second, parental characters are preserved from generation to generation, and only a small quantity of pollens are required, and wastage is avoided. Flowers need not to be large or attractive. And what are the disadvantages then? It continues self-pollination may decrease vigor of the future generation of the species. The weak characters of the species are not diminished and genetic improvement does not take place. Then comes the second type of pollination, that is cross-pollination, or we can say allogamy. It is the process of transfer of pollens from the anther of a flower of a plant to the stigma of a flower of another plant, but of the same species, and sometimes to very closely related species also. Now, what are the advantages? The offspring have more vigor. The variations can be seen. New, improved, and more adapted varieties can be produced. But there are few disadvantages also. Like pollination is not definite. It always depends on the pollinating agencies like wind, water, insects. For that, it is needed. Then pollen grains have to be produced in very large quantities, and the process is uneconomical as the flower has to form large petals, nectar, and so on to attract insects for pollination. Now, what are the agencies for cross pollination? Pollination and flowers of land plants is normally carried out by the insects and the wind, but there are some flowers which can be pollinated by animals. But the water plants, they are always pollinated by the help of water. So, what will be the agents of pollination? Insects, wind, and water are the agents of pollination. So, this is all for today. Now it's time to say goodbye.